this section we are going to practice the functions in Python, so let's see how it looks like. So in our previous section we were talking about how to define a function, how to give a name to the pack of the codes. So let's see what else we can do. So right now I'm going to define the same function that we did in our previous section. So let's say I'm defining right now, say hello, and right now I have a blank parenthesis, so there is nothing inside. So what does it mean that let me just put a hello over here. So what does it mean that later on, if somebody else will call this function, we just say hello, and it is going to execute a code switches under this function. But what if we were asking that, hey, whenever you call this function, and also can you include any variable what you want to do? I mean, this variable is also can be used in this function. So right now I will say then the variable is equal to, let me call it name, or let me just give it a, which is will be easy to understand in the beginning. So right now I will say that if somebody will call it say hello function later on, and they will give me variable a, and I will just print, let me just print it, say hello, and I will print the a itself. You see, the a is variable. We don't know what is the a is going to be, because we are expecting whenever we call this function, and also we will include that variable. So I'm just defining that. No, there is no any error, and let me see how it looks like. So right now I will say hello, that is the name of the function, and as a variable I will just give a Mike. You see, so right now my a is equal to Mike. So that is the name of the function, that is Mike. So if I run it, it is going to print me hello Mike. You see, so right now what it did, so it just took my hello and took the variable a, and the variable a is coming from here. So if I say I want to call that function again, I will say hello, and I will put something else over here. Let me just put Oscar here. So it is going to print hello Oscar. So what if I will not put anything? So let me just say I want to call my function, and I just leaving that blank. So it is giving me error now, because it says that the say hello function, it's missing one requirement, and they are asking the variable a. So right now it gives the error, but here in the beginning what I can do is I will say that, let me just put the default, and I will explain what that is all about. So right now, so the say hello is the name of the function, and also it has a variable a. If the variable a will be given as we did it over here, hello Mike, hello Oscar, that is going to be my variable a. If they leave it blank, if there is no any variable given, so as a default it is going to print that for me. So let me just run it. You see, I'm running that one more time. It still say hello Mike, and here it still is going to say hello Oscar. But if I do not give anything, it is going to give me say hello default, or I can change it to something else. So let me just give me John. Let me just run it, and right now I will not give anything over here. If I run it, it is going to print hello John for me, because that is the variable a. And let me give another example. So right now I'm going to give some example, not with the variable is going to be string. Let me just work with integer. So right now I will say I'm defining new one, and let me call it numbers, or I can call it num. You see, so right now I will say a and b. Oh, that means later on, if somebody will call this function, they need to give two variables, which is a and b. And right now what I'm going to say that I want to print a plus b. You see, so let me just define it. So it is being defined now. So right now I'm trying to call that function now. If I call it now, and I will give it two different numbers, 4 and 5, that is going to print a 9 for me, because it accepts that is integer. But here is another another syntax in function, so we can use the print or we can use the return as well. By the way, we are going to talk about a little bit more in depth later on, so what is the exactly difference between the return and print, but right now it looks like the same. So if I say print a and plus b, or I can say return a plus b, so both of them are going to be exactly the same. So even if I delete that one, let me just get this out. So if I run it, so right now it is going to be working. So later on, whenever we will go just a little bit deep in functions, we will show what is the difference between return and print. And also in the functions, we need to make sure that we have different data types. So right now, if you see over here, we have a name of the function which is now, and we have two variables a and b, and we are trying to return a plus b. But we will assume that these a and b are integers. And what if that number will be not integer, like in 4 and 5, that is going to be string? Let's see how it looks like. So I will define a new one. So right now I will say define product. Let me say the product. So I will just multiply all of them and let me call it x and y. So right now, if I let me just say sum. It's the same as we did here. So I will return, or let me just print it. So I will say x plus y. So if the later on, if I try to call this function sum, I need to give two different numbers. So for example, I will give it 10 and I will give it 2. So right now it is going to print it 12 for me. But what if I will give two different? So it's a string right now. So it is going to print 10 and 2 back to back, because right now the 10 is not integer, it's a string, and the 2 is a string as well. So whenever we put the string plus string, so it is going to just put it back to back and it is going to print for me. So that is the difference between integers and strings in function.